Hello YouTube, this is Alpha Penguin Soldier, and today I will be doing a Dark World deck profile as requested. I did have to scrounge through a lot of my cards. I knew I had one, or at least I had the core and some other cards to go with it. I had to do a lot of digging to find it, so it's not the best. I will do an updated deck profile in a couple of weeks because I've been testing this deck for probably like 2 weeks now online, trying to get a more consistent, better build, but for right now, this is what I got, and I wanted to show you guys. And so, we are going to start off with 3 Grapha. If you don't know what he does, when he's discarded, you pop 1 card on the field, or I guess you destroy 1 card. And then if it's discarded by opponent's card effect, you can... I'm sorry, I don't normally worry about the second effects. Might as well list it off while we're talking about them. You get to look at 1 random card in your opponent's hand, and if it's a monster, special summon it to your side of the field. It's pretty good. In the other build that I do, I try to get some cards in there that help focus in on their second effects. It can be really powerful, especially if you get to go first and get their secondary effects off. Anyway, let's continue on. Next, we have 3 Brow. 3 Brow is pretty standard. When he's discarded, you get to draw an extra card. And then if he is discarded from the hand to the graveyard from an opponent's card effect, draw an extra card. Next 3F is Snow. And her effect is when she's discarded, you get to search a card. Any Dark World card. Just has to have Dark World in the name. And then if it's discarded by opponent's card effect, you can target 1 monster in your opponent's graveyard and you special summon it in face-up defense. And then we have Beige. We have it at 2. I have tried it at 3, done it at 2, tried it at 3. I've always... What I've come to the conclusion of, I really like it at 2. Discard him. Special summon from the graveyard reoccurs. Super easy. And then we have 1 Lucent, another Lord of the Dark World. Same thing as Beige, discard, special summon, but he has a secondary effect. And the secondary effect is when he's discarded by an opponent's card effect, you get to special summon 1 Fiend type from the deck to either side of the field. I will be upping him. I really like him. Really good. Get that discard, special summon like a Grapha from your deck. Love it. And then 1 more monster, we have Tour Guide. I've always run it, some people don't like it. Play it, get your Brow out. It used to be play that, Brow, Levier, get 1 of your banished cards back. Or you can go into another rank 3. A lot of the time I end up using it, Brow, Grapha to Grapha. Super easy. Oh, that's right. I didn't go over Grapha's effect. If you don't know what he does, he can bounce a Dark World from the field back to your hand to special summon himself from the graveyard. Very important. Can't believe I almost forgot that. Alrighty. And on to the traps. Let's see if I have these in order. I do an older thing. 3 Reckless Greed in my newer build. I think I ended up cutting it. With this card, if you activate multiple, you still only skip your next 2 draw phases, and then you can draw a bunch of cards. Draw 2, skip 2. It's alright. I don't really like it very much anymore. It used to be a lot better before, in my opinion, but I'll end up cutting it. Next one, we have 3 Mind Crush. Mind Crush is just an all-around good card. It's pretty sure it's always been run in Dark Worlds, or since I've had Dark Worlds, I've always run it. You declare 1 card name, and if it is the card name, they must discard all copies of the name. If you call it wrong, like on purpose, say they're playing Spiral and you want to get a discard off, you're like, Dark Magician, then you have to discard a card, and they choose a random card. Get a discard effect off. It's pretty good. I've been trying out Dark World Brainwashing. I think I'm gonna cut it just because it's really specific. It can be really good and help getting off their secondary effects, but it's so specific in what you need to get it off, because when your opponent's monster activates an effect, if you have 3 or more cards in your hand, except during the damage step, you can target one Dark World monster on the field, return it to the hand. If you do, their activated effect becomes discard 1 random card from your opponent's hand. I've gotten it off a couple times where it was like pretty neat, but I'm pretty sure I'm just gonna cut it just because it's so specific. You have to have 1 on the field, 3 in the hand, and you end up going through your hand so fast so often. It doesn't always. It ends up being a dead draw. And then we have 1 Eradicator Epidemic Virus. Tribute 1 dark monster with 2,500 attack or more, being a Grapha. Choose Speller Trap cards. Check all spell and trap cards on your opponent's side of the field, your opponent's hand, and all cards they draw until the end of the 3rd turn after this card's been activated. Destroy all cards of the chosen type. Pretty good. Say Spiral, pop all their monsters. Maybe True Kings, call traps, It's pretty decent. Basically activate it for free just because you can get your Grapha back, no problem. I don't remember if I am running it in my new build, but in what I could get together, threw it in. I know I used to run it in the past. It's pretty decent. It's a preference card, really. And next, I guess 2. Dark Smog. Once per turn, target 1 monster in your opponent's graveyard, discard a fiend. If you do, banish that target. So not only do you get to get your Dark World effects off, you get to banish one of their cards. I know in a Spiral match that I played, I ended up activating it and banishing his Quick Fix or Drone or whatever it is, one of his monsters that he wanted to reoccur. It was super fun. He didn't particularly care for it. He wasn't very happy. Alrighty. And then for the next one, we do 1 Torrential just because. Flip it, destroy all monsters on the field. I don't think it's as good as it used to be against, bigger decks, I guess meta decks, because you have True Draco that can become immune to traps, and there's a lot of cards that just are immune to things nowadays. I still like it. It can end up turning the tide sometimes. Really good in a rogue matchup. All around good. We have 1 Solemn Warning, 1 Solemn Strike. I do 1 of each just because Solemn Warning, Solemn Strike. I had room to put them both in there, so why not? Always good to get a negation in there. And then last trap card, we have 1 Skill Drain because all your effects go off in the graveyard. It is really good. Stop your opponent dead in their tracks. I know I accidentally played Dark Worlds against Mega Capital G. I meant to play Gokis, but I did play, I think it was a really similar build to what I have today. Flipped this on him, and it didn't go too well. He had a couple misplays, and it was a really fun game. I liked it. He played, I think, Infernity, Link deck. It was a fun game. I liked playing with him. Fun stuff. Alrighty, let's go to the spell cards. So, let's get these out of here. We have 3 Gates of the Dark World. Pretty standard in Dark World build. All fiends gain 300 attack and defense. And then once per turn, banish a fiend from your graveyard. And then you discard a fiend card and then draw a card. So what you're going to do, banish like a Brow you discarded earlier. And then you're going to discard whatever Dark World card you want to get off, Snow, Grapha, whatever. And then you get to draw a card. Super good. I like it. Pretty sure everybody does. Pretty standard. For the next one, we do 3 Dark World Dealings. And it's just draw 1. Each player draws 1 card, then discards a card. Pretty standard. Helps you get plus, helps you go through the deck, helps you thin it. Another Dark World card. Target for Snow. Really good. And then 3 Drag Down to the Grave. I extremely like this card just because you get to look at your opponent's hand, select 1 card from their hand, discard to the graveyard, and then you draw 1. And that happens for both of you. So, you get to pull a card out, chuck it to the graveyard, could be their quick fix or whatever you want it to be, a key card they need to get going. And then from your hand, they pull out, whichever card they is, the least good. Sometimes it's a beige in your hand, but sometimes you have like a snow and a couple Graphas. And then they just end up having to pick their poison. Then you draw a card. You go through the deck. And then we have 1 Allure of Darkness. Draw a card. I've tried it at 3. I don't like it. Since that ban list happened. Whenever that was, I don't remember. I just know it's at 3. I like it at 1. 1 Upstart because it's at 1. I remember running 3 way back when. I was like, when I first got the deck, my friend was like, "Oh, it's so good. You just get to draw and give them 1,000." I was like, "But you're giving them 1,000 life points just for drawing a card." They explained it to me. You're getting so many big creatures on the board. That 1,000 doesn't even matter. And I honestly didn't like it when a bunch of decks started running Upstart and then it got bumped down to 1. But, it happens. So, not much I can do. Last card, we have Foolish Burial just to thin out the deck, put Grapha there. Doesn't matter. It's decent for the deck. Had space. Put it in. That is the deck. I don't have a side deck. I do have part of an extra deck thrown together. I had my cards kind of all over the place. So, let's start where... A lot of them are going to be rank 8s because you can just get 2 Graphas on the field pretty easy. And, overlay, detach, and then get your Grapha back onto the field, depending on what you do. So we have Galaxy Eyes Tachyon Dragon. 2 level 8s, super good. Galaxy Eyes Full Armor Photon Dragon. Number 95 Galaxy Eyes Dark Matter Dragon. You'll throw it over either of those. We have 2 Divine Knight Dragon Felgrands. 1 Heretic Sun Overlord of Heliopolis. 1 Gimmick Puppet Giant Grinder. And then I have been testing these Proxy Dragon and Decode Talker. Once again, it's really easy to just send your Graphas, get them back. They reoccur. It's pretty good. I liked it. It's not a complete extra deck. There's a lot of tweaking I have to do, but it's pretty good. I don't mind the Decode Talker or the Proxy Dragon. It really depends on what you're up to. I usually won't go into that. Just have it as options. And then I have a couple other cards that I've tried online I like, but I don't have them in person, unfortunately. Like I said, I'll have to do an updated deck profile in a couple weeks when I can order the cards. And that is it, guys. I'll try to get a side deck thrown together for it. There'll be a lot of changes in the deck. I'll get the rest of the cards for the side deck. I hope you guys enjoyed the deck profile. I know it's not the best, but I did what I could in such short notice because I didn't want to leave the person who requested it hanging for too long. I hope you guys liked it. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Alpha Penguin Soldier, signing out.